Hello everyone, welcome to another Space Engineer's Guide to Survival Impossible Multiplayer Server. I'm Terry, and today I'm going to give you a quick guide onto the server, how to survive, and just a little info to the community server we've got going on Splitsie's Discord. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to. Follow the link in the Discord down below to Splitsie's channel. If you go over to the community server chat, you can find a link to the server there. We're a small little active community. Everyone's welcome to join. That being said, let's get started. So basically, when you join the server, if you join a faction, if you want to, you can join the Super Monkeys faction. Then you basically will get a pop-up similar with this of all these spawn points. If you don't want to join a faction, you're more than welcome to start your own. But basically, at the bottom, you're going to have these three here spawn points. You've got the Baleen, Omicron, and spacesuits. I wouldn't recommend going for the Baleen. That's basically the gas giant. If you spawn there, you will land in a drop pod until you hit the surface. Then generally they explode because it has a stupid high gravity. If you click Omicron, this will take you to the main planet that Splitsie's on his Survival Impossible. Then if you just click respawn, the game will generate a location for you. You'll just drop in, just like that. So basically with this server, everything's been modded, obviously to Splitsie's scenario needs. I've also added a few extra bits to the game. I've added a few mods, just to try and make it a little bit easier for players for the first time. Obviously this is running the daily needs mod, so food, drink is a thing here. Obviously as well, you've got oxygen issues. You will run out of oxygen very quickly. So with that being said, always make sure you've got your oxygen bottles with you. There is an extra bottle in your passenger seat and a few other resources. Also, when it comes to generating oxygen, you might not find yourself in a situation where you can get ice. That isn't a problem. On the drop pod there is a custom little O2 tank. You also have a little vent there. Basically, if you set the vent on, it should be on depressurised already. You can turn that on to refill your oxygen tank. Then you can refill your actual small oxygen bottles from your oxygen tank when you land up. Now obviously I've been playing this for a little while. I've got a big base, so I've already got quite a big threat level, so this might not go to plan. But the idea of this is just to basically give you a quick guide of the planet, the server, some of the mods, and just basically give you a helping hand for new players who want to get involved but don't know how to. This is quite a challenging scenario. A lot of people have come, a lot of people found and left within a few days. But we're quite an active community, there's quite a few of us on here. It looks like the research ship's going to leave us for the moment, that's good. I'm just going to pause this here. I'll be back in a moment when we've landed. So we're just coming into land now. So now we've landed. Just always recommend dropping out the passenger's seat. I'd always refill your bottles if you can help it, because it's quite important. now we've landed. The first thing I always generally recommend is turn off any functions, anything that you don't need. Stuff like thrusters, beacons. I would always leave the beacon on, but to save energy I prefer to take the GPS location, then turn the beacon off, and it will save you, as you can see here, 2 kilowatts of an energy. We are on a limited source of power for the moment. So there's that. So now with this mod, basically Splitsie has lowered the thrusters of your jetpack, so if you try doing them taking off, you won't get nowhere on the planet. So just remember that when it comes to building, try not to fall, because if you fall you're going to take a lot of damage very quickly and you're going to end up dead. So let's get started. Just basically use that basic command, and that will basically allow you to create a GPS point. So if you are new to Space Engineers, you're on the server, to get your basic resources going, all you need to do is just mine some basic stone, get it into the survival kit, and go to productions, create some basically graphite ingots here, as it's listed. And that will give you the basic element of resources, so you can start building stuff like your melt sheets or steel plates. So when it comes to refilling your oxygen bottles, you need to come over, click F on the little conveyor port there on the back of the oxygen tank. Click onto the tanks you want to refill. They will transfer to the oxygen tank. They should already be preset to refill for you. Once they're refilled, all I'd recommend doing is coming back to your air vent, turning it on, waiting 10 seconds, turning it back off. And what that'll do is refill your oxygen tank for you for when you next come around and you need more oxygen. Now, a lot of people will leave that fence on, but the fence do use a lot of energy when trying to depressurise, so it's always best to turn it off when you're not using it. Also, you may have noticed that I'm not broadcasting any signals. It does help you save a little power and make you last a little bit longer when you're running about. But also, the NPCs can detect your signals, and you're more likely to get a spawn or a random event where you're going to get attacked. Now we've got some basic resources. We've got some steel plates. We push the G menu, and we'll have all the available blocks and parts in the game. On this server we do have a few extra mods that are not on the scenario. One of the main ones is we've got the aerodynamic blocks. It gives you wings basically, so it just helps you getting around the planet. It is very awkward. We've got a few extra mod parts, just give people a bit more creation if you want to create something and you can't find the shape. We've got some upgraded blocks more for in-game use. Quite the reefers are quite tricky now, they've been quite modified, so having an extra big reactors do come in handy, but it's more of a risk for when you do get them destroyed. We've got the Chills floor pack here, one I particularly like, useful for making roads and stuff. A little bit cheaper than making a full block, but they're not as strong. I particularly like these, really they're like a gridding platform. Brilliant. We do also have a few other armoured blocks here. We've got the armoured connectors, we've also got the Armco armoured junction blocks as well. A lot of people would use just like your standard conveyor junction, and what you'll find is at one block is trying to speak to, well, basically when the server runs and it's trying to find where the block goes to, it would run each of the faces trying to see if it connects to something. So once you start adding multiple junctions over a period of time, you'll start noticing your base will go a little bit laggy as the server's trying to update the grids all the time. So by using an armoured one, what gives you the cube shapes, but it's then airtight, you can reduce the load on the server, make the game run a lot smoother, and just have a bigger base that's more efficient. So now we've got a bit more resources coming. One of the other main mods that we've added to it is this scaffolding mod. This is a brilliant mod. I can't assist it, it's really changed the game for a lot of people. Until you've actually used it and played with it, it's amazing. Especially for games like this where it's hard for you to get up on world sake. The parts are very cheap. As you can see, they only take one steel plate. It's the same with all the blocks. and you can just build your little platform, scaffolding, and off you go. So basically what I'm trying to do now is just build a little platform so I can eventually move this drop pod and sit it on top of here, just so we've got a little flat area to work with. Then we can start looking at a way to power the base before it runs out of energy. Just in time for a lovely sunrise. So as you can see in the sky, you've got a nice planet, ice moon. That's basically where I've got my main base. There's also that's a Mars type planet. It does look like an Earth-like, but it's actually a Mars type. And just underneath it, to roughly where I'm aiming now, there's a Venus type planet. And there is another one just about there. And both have moons as well. And just around the bottom here is another planet. I think we've named it Miranda. No, it's this side, sorry, Miranda. Basically, we just pretend it's the planet where the Reavers come from the series Firefly. It's quite a distance away. If you find one of my live streams, I did do a little trip to it. Now, one of the most important things that I consider with the game is getting power to the grid. Just basically it stops it if you ever run out, that you don't lose your base, because obviously the trash removal will delete grids. I do have a backup system on here. So yeah, if you do find your grid's gone missing after a few weeks, give me a personal message and I should be able to restore it for you. So right now I'm just trying to work out the best way to connect the drop pods to the little structure I've built without destroying one or the other. It can get a little bit challenging at times. Sometimes stuff happens that you don't expect, but it's all part of the game, I guess.
Energy low.
Just having a little look to see if we've got any resources near us. But it don't look like we're going to get lucky today. Alright. One of the quick and cheapest ways to build two small grids together, or big grid to a small grid. Basically place a piston like that. Oh, this is right, sorry. And if you use control and use the mouse middle click, bring up build fission, you can scroll down and click add a small head. You'll use the mouse middle click again. And that will create you a small connection point for a small grid from that rotor. So now what we need to do is basically connect from here to here. It's going to be a little bit awkward. Oh no. Oh, don't take the battery. So basically we're playing with a scrap mod here, so when you basically grind something down, you get scrap parts. You can refine them in your survival kit. The only drawback is certain stuff like medical components, you can't do that. You will lose them. So now if we go... Here's that one. 2, 1. Can we extend the rotor so attach? Yes, perfect. So we'll bring that in. Now another mod we've got with this scenario set up for Splitsie, we have the digi-well pads. Very similar to the merge block system, how merge blocks work, but it's 10 times better. Alright, to create these we're going to need 2 computers, 2 steel plates and 2 construction components. Right, looks like we won't have enough iron. Yeah, right. 2 and 2. Aha, see, with the scraps we just scrapped, we managed to get enough resources to build the 2 well pads that we need. So it's always nice that you remember to scrap any parts you don't use. So basically to use this, all you do is place 1 well pad. Weld the well pad up. Place the second one. Now, this is probably one of the most important parts that I would recommend for anyone to do when you're doing this. A lot of people fall for this mistake, and they keep the small grid locked in place and try connecting them, and yeah, it generally leads to bad things. So, select all your landing gear. There is a fourth one, but I believe it broke on impact, so that ain't particularly an issue. Untick the auto lock and click unlock. Jump out. Yeah, see we've got one here that's disconnected. Let's turn that off or it causes us problems. We need to wait for it to spin around again and lock the rotor if it makes it. You can do it just a little bit more. Oh no, it ain't long enough. goes up. The construction components again. We're only going to need one computer. Let's quickly refill our tanks. Just messing around with the displacement settings. I'm just hoping we'll get lucky and we'll be able to let's see if we can just keep it a little nudge. Oh. Right, so what we're going to need, by the looks of it, it's a little rotor. Gyro, sorry. Ouch. To build this, we're going to need one large steel tube, 2 motors and some other parts. We do have a couple of the large steel tubes in the front seat. So we've got 5 there and a couple of gridders. So yeah, this should be quite easy. So let's refill the bottles, refill the tank. Let's get back to mining. So a lot of people would try to using thrusters with overrides just to basically get you in the right direction, but I always find when I play around with the overrides like that, I end up drifting the craft off all over the place and end up regretting that I even started. So for that means I'll just collect the resources and we'll get a gyro built. So the other thing as well, what you've probably noticed by now, I ain't really pausing the game, I'm just doing it live as you do it in real life. I find there's a lot of people on YouTube that do stuff like this, and they're doing a demonstration how to build this, do that, in survival mode, then they'll pause the game, run off and do it in administrative, like admin mode. But yeah, it's cheating. Gyros. 2 motors, 3 computers, 5 minutes, and 3 of these. Just do 4. Probably going to have a few more steel plates. When that happens, just get some more stone. That should be all the parts we need. Jump in the passenger seat. On gyro. Right, as you can see, we've jumped in, we've got a gyro, but we still can't control it. So the next thing we need to do, just jump back out. You're going to need a remote block. Just jump in now. So we're going to need 1 interior, 2 interior plates, 1 motor. Whatever remote block would need a motor, I don't know. Construction components. Computer. Not particularly hard. So now we'll come back to your survival kit. We need 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. start to get low on oxygen. So we've still got some resources left over. Actually, I think we need the remote block. See, what I like to do now, we're connecting this, and we're actually facing, you want the remote block facing the direction that you're planning on moving. So basically when you connect to it, you don't want all your controls reversed, so instead of trying to turn left and you're going right. So once you've got it on, all you do is jump in your seat, push the I button, and all you need to do is find your remote block, click control. If you use your alt button, move your mouse, twist it, and there you go. You have the basic control. Right. Uh-oh, it feels like we're starting to roll backwards. Yes. Alright. So we leave that out. To prevent any more rolling, going backwards, so this is going to start going out really quickly if you're not careful. And we're going to end up probably damaging the drop pod. We will place a block there. That's just going to prevent us from rolling. So now I'm going to see if I can get lucky, just try to extend the piston again. Right, I think now the only thing we can do, is build a few more steel plates. And just place them around your grid. Not what I wanted to see. Right. We're back again. So basically after destroying the pod, I used the command and basically managed to spawn a fresh copy in. It's just a backup. Fortunately it's parked us in a different location, slightly off where we were. So I've been mining out, gathering some ingots, some more resources so we can start building up again. Just get a little bit more. So basically now you can see it's a lot bigger down here. I think I've done enough 15, 20 odd trips. So let's try again. Because this time it's basically set us quite back, I think it might be a little bit easier if we actually just rebuild a remote block on top, get another gyro on top. This time we'll just use the ship just to lift off the floor, just enough so we can put something underneath it just to keep it a bit flatter, and it should reduce quite a lot of the problems we had the first time around. As you can tell, I won't be cutting that out because no one ever exceeds on this server first time. It's not particularly an easy one. So right, what was that? I need 10 steel plates. We're going to need 4 motors. Going to need 2 then. Might be 3 tier plates. Going to need at least 10 construction components. All of them. That should be enough to get us going. Aha. Just make sure I turn all the electrics off. As well. First things first, we now need to get back on top. Rebuild Joe. We have the auto run from Daily Needs mod on here, not Daily Needs, Quality of Life mods. It's not particularly one I'm a fan of, to be honest. So we've got gyro. Now, number 1. More steel plate. Remote block. So if we just place the basic parts around. Just like that. So if we do take off and we start to drift, we can't drift far. We should be quite safe in this little confined area. So first things first, jump in, find the remote block, take control. Second thing, unlock the landing gear. I'd probably turn the gyro down to about 50%. That's close enough. Thrusters, we'll switch them on. Why have we got overrides on? Timer block off. Let's give it a little bit more gyro. Yeah, we've got an override on again. Shut down place. Just quickly refill the fuel fill. There we go. And we right. So now we should, for flat surface, we should be yes, we are. So now we have a flat surface we can work on. It should make it a little bit easier. as you can tell, nothing actually goes to plan on this server. Everything's a challenge. I was hoping to keep this video to an hour, so if we can get it connected, I think that'd be part of day one. Right, now if we retract, right. Looking at this, we're gonna need computer component. I might have enough there to do this. Yeah, quite a lot. That's very lot. That'll do. Alright, now we want one more block. Oil pad. Pad. You want to pop that? No, we don't. Don't want to go for a free today. Want to line up ships enough for one day. Alright. Oh. Not far enough. Alright. We currently need to. Ow. Oh, I thought that was going to work. Put you out. course we run up steel plates. We're going to need some more resources. Alright, let's just get a bit more oxygen. A little bit more energy. I think that should be enough this time. I'll get some steps. One more block. That's the beauty of these weld pads. Oh. There we are. We're connected. It looks like there's a little bit of strain here, so we'll jump down. We'll relock that. Boom. We're safe. One last thing that we will need is a turbine. So for the turbine, we need a lot more resources. It takes a lot longer. So, first thing to do, use what you've got. As you've probably just noticed, we can't put the metal grids or the large steel tube scrap parts into the refinery. That's basically something that you need a basic reassembler for, and that would basically break it back down into the components. So till then, we don't need this part.
Energy low.
Obviously you don't waste any resources, so obviously with the grids, what you can't do, chuck them into your passenger seat, save them for later. Now whatever you do not grind down the actual survival kit. So one thing you can't fix is the medical components unless you have a basic or a normal assembler. With by now, if you start to get to the point where your character's going to get a little bit hungry, or you need some more fluids, you run back to your survival kit. You want to grab the food out of the seat, if not in this case. You want to jump through, and just over the back there you've got your water recycler. You drop your grey goo down, it will process that into more drinking water. The other thing you can do is find emergency rations. That's fine. You need some ice. Then you need gravel. And you can produce and make your space rocks. So if you drop your ice in the water recycling system, it will produce H2O like fluids for you very quickly. Now we can leave that running. Right, get this going. We need 10 interior plates to start off with. Boom. Don't need no more motors. We need interior plates and girders mostly. Well, we've got a lot of construction component parts there. And that's what happens when you break down thrusters. Or just put a cube to load. More than we need. Yep. Oh, we can leave that like that, we don't mind. Right. Going to need a few more steel plates, so we need some more rock or stone. Ow. Right. So that's how you basically build your first wind turbine. Ouch. Should really get a set of stairs just so we can get up from the front part here. It'll just make life a little bit quicker and easier. So there you go. We have our first wind turbine. So now, it isn't much, but that's kind of constantly give us a small amount of power to power our base. So if we jump in, we just turn off everything that's not particularly needed at the moment. Let's get some lights off. We don't need the emergency rations. We don't need the gyro on. Lights, we can turn the lights off. All detectors off. I like to leave the generator on, but we don't need it. Pistons won't do. Yeah, we can probably turn these off. Right. As you can see, we are producing 90 kilowatts of electric, and that is consistent. Now, if you check the survival kit, it's constantly using 15, and with everything else, you don't particularly, you can particularly run out of energy quite quickly. But now we have a constant energy supply. The battery's going to slowly recharge, so it'll be safe for us at night time. We have means to reproduce our food. And we've also got everything we needed to log out and keep the character safe. Right, before I log out, the only thing I always recommend the server's running slow. Should quickly refill. Always recommend we have the generator on that. Generator. Strange. But yeah, now everything's done. I will log off here for next time. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.